Hey, great to have you. Welcome to the program. Thanks. It is the Joe Pags Show. Great radio stations across the land. Newsmax TV, iHeartRadio, JoePags.com. Glad to have you. All right, out of time at the bottom of the hour. Had to cut Kelly off, but I also want to make sure that people understand how I do this thing. When somebody calls in and wants to tell me the story of what they experienced at the polling place, I'm more than willing to hear it. I want to hear it. If you're a poll observer, like Kelly and her husband is or are, I certainly want to hear your story as well. But when you start telling me specifics about what you saw them do, what this other person said, I saw them write Jacqueline Callanan's name on it, and this is what, and they start giving me specifics, I can't investigate what you're saying. I can't go through and find out all the details. I don't know who this guy was. I don't know who the poll watchers were. I don't know who the judges are from the left and from the right. Can we get a hold of Callanan? Sure, we'll call her office and we'll find out. Are they letting people vote with an ATM card? What I understand, you have to write, you have to fill out this affidavit, you have to swear that you are who you say you are, and that can be challenged later. The guy said, I have a driver's license, but it's at home. The people at the polls should have said, you need to go home and get your driver's license. You can't vote. You can't fill out this piece of paper. So, again, I don't disbelieve what she's saying, but we start using people's names and making accusations. I need more information than that. I need the ability to firsthand go and investigate it. All right, having said that, we want to welcome back to the program a friend of ours and a great author, great political pundit, certainly worked with the Clintons for 20 years. It is Dick Morris's own self. Hi, Dick. How are you? Hello, Dick. Do we have Dick Morris? I think we might have lost him. Carrie, what do you think?
Oh, no.
You have reached the maximum time permitted.
Well, there you go.
I
And
guess
there
so.
you go. You have yourself a nice one there. Let's go ahead and get a hold of Dick again, please. We had him on the line, and I guess we lost him there in the meantime. Let me go to the phone lines in the meantime. As soon as we get Dick Morris back, we'll go right to him. Let me say hello and welcome to Ryan in Kingsville, Texas. Hi, Ryan. What's going on?
Hey, Joe. Had a theory about this whole why he was charged with electioneering.
Sure.
Much like the word redneck and other derogatory terms that those who those terms are about have adopted them and turned them into a good thing and a positive thing. The deplorables have kind of adopted that. So I'm guessing that's why they took that on as an electioneering thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting theory. I disagree with it, obviously. I don't think saying basket of deplorables on your shirt has anything to do with pulling for one guy or the other. We now have author Dick Morris on the line. His New York Times bestseller is Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. Dick, how are you?
Hey, Pags, doing good.
Yeah, we appreciate having you on. So suddenly today, Dick, you have Bloomberg has Trump ahead. You've got the distance between the two candidates on Fox News cut in half. The LA Times has him ahead. You've got she's ahead by 1 point on Rasmussen now.
Right.
Things are tightening up. Did you see this coming, and why is it happening?
Yeah, well, I predicted it in How Trump Can Beat Hillary. And what I predicted there, not to pat myself on the back, but is exactly what's happening, which is that the blue-collar vote is coming back to Trump. When you look at the two Fox News polls, one a week ago when he was 6 behind, and the other today where he's 3 behind, between those two polls, while the national movement is only 3 points, among white high school educated men, that has not been to college, white high school educated men, Trump has gone from a 16-point margin to a 30-point margin.
Wow.
And among white high school educated women, he's gone up by 7 points as well. So what's going on is that the blue collar vote that until recently isn't really involved in the election is suddenly getting involved, paying attention, and coming over for Trump. Now, the irony of this, Pags, is that everybody in politics, all professionals, it's a truism, the Democrats come home at the end.
Yeah.
Which means you get a Republican ahead by umpteen points, and then all of a sudden he's ahead by almost nothing or behind, because the Democrats came home. All the Democrats who were undecided or said they were going to vote for the Republicans suddenly realized there's an election coming and that they're Democrats, and they come back and vote for the party.
Is this a different animal this time, Dick? Because, I mean,
go ahead. Yeah, the same people are doing it now, but they're coming home to Trump because the Democrats are losing the downscale voter and Republicans are winning them. And this last-minute late shift is something that will probably continue and could well carry Trump over the finish line.
It's Dick Morris's New York Times bestseller is Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. What's also interesting about this is when you see there isn't much talk about the sex scandal, when there isn't much talk about the kind of guy he is or the kind of gal she is, when there's talk about real issues like jobs and the economy, he's beating her like 2 or 3 to 1 among voters. When it comes to experience, quote-unquote experience, and who you want your kids to be more like or something, I guess she does better. So it's time for him to just, for the last week and a half, just stick to the issues, right?
Yeah, but the issues are sticking to him is the point.
Yeah.
Obamacare premiums are going up like crazy, and that news hurts Hillary a lot because it's Obamacare, but we all know it's Hillary care.
Right.
And the poor people who are suckered into buying those plans now are facing 30, 40, 50, 60% premium increases on top of 2 years of increases already. And the deductibles are out of sight. So you need to spend $5,000 in premiums and $5,000 deductible before you can get a flu shot. And I think people are understanding that. And then they're correlating it with the other stuff that's going on. This memo from Doug Band where he lays out in detail and admits everything that I said in my book, that the Clinton Foundation is a bribery operation to collect speaking fees that go to Clinton's pocket and foundation donations that end up, in effect, going there as well in return for access to the Secretary of State and the former president. And in the memo, the memo came about because Chelsea unloaded on him and said, this guy's screwing us. He's not doing enough for us. And Band writes this memo in his own defense, saying, look at all the clients I brought you. Look at the tens of millions of dollars of income you've made off of this. And it got released today by WikiLeaks, and it lays it all out.
Dick, people like you and I pay close attention. More attention than people who aren't in our industry, be honest with you. And again, his book is Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. Is WikiLeaks resonating? Is James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, which clearly shows collusion between the Hillary Clinton campaign and political action committees, which is against the law? Are people paying attention? Is that starting to permeate?
Yeah, I don't think they're paying attention to the details, but they are getting the idea that Hillary's a crook. And they're getting the idea that she shouldn't be president, and I think that certainly is coming through. Pags, have I ever talked to you about Christmas shopping?
No. Fill me in.
Can't tell if I've told you or someone else. When do you buy presents for your wife?
Usually right after Thanksgiving.
Okay, I buy mine on Christmas Eve.
I've done that. I have.
And my wife buys them for me in September and October.
Right.
So she's like the informed voter who pays attention early.
Right.
And I'm like the uninformed voter who only pays attention late. But we each buy Christmas presents.
Right.
We spend roughly the same amount of money. We give it the same care and consideration. I just do it at the end, and she does it at the beginning. And that's the difference between the well-informed voter and the less-informed voter, the upscale and the downscale. And what's happening now is that the downscale voters are suddenly coming into the process. If you want to see it from a reverse perspective in terms of gender, think about the Super Bowl or the World Series right now.
Yeah.
Most people that aren't baseball fans had no idea who was playing in the series.
Yeah.
Now that it's on, everybody not only knows who's playing, they know that the Cubs haven't won since 1908.
Right.
And there are all these sidebars that everybody knows about now.
So,
and it's just like that with an undecided voter.
If I'm hearing you right, I mean, it sounds like everything that's happened up until right this moment doesn't matter as much as what happens between now and November 8th.
Yeah, that's true. And bear in mind, 5 of the last 6 elections have been decided by stuff that happened in the last week. In 2000, the Gore campaign released the fact that Bush had a DUI that he never disclosed.
Right.
In 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit. In 1996, the whole scandal about Clinton taking money from China.
Right.
1992, they revealed that Cap Weinberger of the Bush administration was about to be indicted. He was pardoned. and all of that always breaks at the end. But what apart from events happens is the downscale voter learns about the race. And that is functioning in Trump's favor now, whereas usually it functions against the Republican.
It's the New York Times bestseller, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary, the author of that book. It's Dick Morris. Also, you worked with the Clintons for 20 years, and more we're hearing who Hillary Clinton is behind the scenes. You and I have talked about it before. I've talked to Gary Byrne about it, the guy who was a Secret Service uniformed officer about it. You hear about the state troopers in Arkansas about it. But the general public is finally starting to get an idea of who she is when she's not in front of the cameras. Is that playing against her too?
Did you watch House of Cards?
No, I watched it a couple of times, but I'm not as into it as I think you are.
There's a character on it who is Hillary Clinton, Claire Underwood.
Yeah.
Ruthless, vicious, determined to get power, unemotional, no concern about anything other than getting power and making it work. And that's who Hillary is. She's just obsessive about it. And she gets herself into these knots because she's always secretive and paranoid, and she can't let the left hand know what the right one is doing. And she ends up just creating these huge messes for herself that explode right in her face right now.
It's Dick Morris, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. The AP, for some reason, Dick, and you're a poll expert. You know this stuff better than anybody I know. The AP has her up by 14. The AP says that she is ready for an incredible, I can't think of the adjective they use, but a crushing win, a crushing victory over Donald Trump. How is it possible that they're writing that crap when we see all of these other polls tightening up? And as you say, more and more people are getting more informed. Is this just in the hopes of forcing people to stay home, or are they living in dreamland?
Yeah, I haven't seen the AP polling. I didn't even know AP was doing polling by itself.
Well,
but
14%, yeah.
Yeah, certainly all the other polls are not reflecting that.
But is there, in your opinion, an agenda by an AP or by the other big media outlets to slant it towards Hillary Clinton, whether it's true or not, in the hopes that people will stay home who are undecided?
Yeah, there's definitely an agenda. A very revealing quote. When Matt Lauer confronted Hillary in that first debate and confronted her with the emails, and Hillary was furious. She was asked about that on TV. And she yelled at a staff member, "You call Matt Lauer's people and tell him if he wants to have a fascist dictatorship in the United States, that's his business."
Wow.
What she was in effect saying was, it's your civic and public duty to screw Donald Trump, even though you're a journalist.
Hey, last question, and it's amazing because he did a good job as a journalist that night, but we've also heard stories of her throwing water against the wall and yelling the F word as soon as she got in the hall. Having said all of that, rate Chris Wallace as the moderator of the last debate. Did you like what he did?
Oh, I thought he was terrific.
Yeah.
I thought he was just great. Excellent, and I think that he really set a new standard for the journalists to do that.
Well, I would agree, but at the same time, he lets Hillary off the hook a couple of times on Haiti, on the Clinton Foundation. She was able to divert, but at least they asked the questions, right?
I know, and it's Trump's job. You know, it's not Chris Wallace's job, but he didn't stack it against him.
Yeah,
and that's pretty par for the course.
I agree. All right, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat
Pat.
Hillary. Sell 1 million of them. All right, Dick. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate Dick Morris taking the time. Go to dickmorris.com. We'll also put a link up on my website where you can get his book and read through it. He did predict much of what's going on right now. Your phone calls when we come back and much more on the Joe Pag Show.